What do you do if your guinea pig is not acting like themselves? Maybe they're laying down, they look uncomfortable. You look at them, you pick them up, and they seem really puffed up. Maybe their fur is puffed up, but their guts are sticking out. When you tap, it sounds like a hollow balloon. That is most likely bloat. And it's not a matter of if your guinea pig gets bloat, it's a matter of when they get bloat. At some point in their life, at some point when you have them, your guinea pigs are going to get bloated. So we want to be prepared for if and when that happens, and we also want to be able to know the signs. I'm Scotty. I'm a longtime volunteer at the Los Angeles Guinea Pig Rescue. Got a bunch of guinea pigs here, and unfortunately, bloat and digestive issues are a part of life when it comes to guinea pigs. So I want to help you to be prepared for it and to be able to recognize it and treat it and understand what we're dealing with. So as I said, it is not an if, but it is a when. Guinea pigs are basically poop factories. They're eating machines, and the product that they're making is poops. 80% of your guinea pig's diet is hay, and that is what they should be eating all the time, right? Pellets, which are also hay based, and their veggies are just a small supplement of their diet. The veggies for extra vitamins and minerals, as well as the pellets, which give vitamins and minerals, and those are kind of just like an insurance and just a add variety. But 80% of your guinea pig's diet, it is hay. It is high in fiber, and even though it is low in nutrients, it is the basic raw material that makes the poops. And in your guinea pig's gut, they have a special digestive chamber called a cecum that the hay will go into, and it will ferment, for lack of a better word, and there are microorganisms and bacteria that convert that rough stuff, that rough raw material, and they digest it, and it creates vitamins and minerals that your piggies need. It gets absorbed, but they also will eat their own poop. There are certain poops that they will reach down and eat that have these vitamins and minerals. So that is the state of play with your guinea pig's digestion. There's a whole lot of really interesting information and graphs and images, drawings and stuff that show your guinea pig's digestive system. I encourage you to look that up, Google it if you think that this is fascinating. And guinea pig biology is fascinating, especially because in some ways it's very different from ours, but in other ways guinea pig biology is very similar to ours, which is why they have been tested on for so many years as it relates to human medicine. So that's what we're dealing with. But what is the problem? Sometimes there could be any number of reasons why their digestion may get interfered with. And there are basically two symptoms, two illnesses, two conditions that we're talking about that can go together, but also can either work in tandem or one present itself and the other not. We're talking about bloat, and we're talking about gut or GI stasis. You can have both happening simultaneously, or you could have one and not the other. Some piggies tend to be bloated. Sometimes they get bloated a lot. They still continue to eat, continue to poop, but they just have a lot of gas in them. And maybe adjusting their diet, not giving them so much fresh veggies, giving them more fiber, encouraging them to eat their hay either with herbal blends or just a timing thing that could encourage them to have a better diet, which might decrease bloat. Giving them some type of probiotics could also help improve their gut, their digestion, and their overall gut health. So there are a number of fiber and probiotic pastes that you can get here in the US. We have Benebac. It's Benebac, beneficial bacteria. There are others around the world and in different places. So I would say reach out to your vet. A lot of these are over the counter, but reach out to your vet, reach out to a local. If there's a guinea pig rescue that you trust in your local area, they can recommend one that may be different from one that we use here. I'm in California in the US. I recommend Benebac is probably the go-to. If you are in a different country, put in the comments what type of beneficial bacteria or what kind of digestive aids you recommend. So if your guinea pig, if you wake up and they seem to be bloated, now this video is specifically about bloat, but we are going to talk a little bit about GI stasis, and I have another video about GI stasis that you can check out. But when it comes to bloat, your piggy is going to probably look wider than normal, and when you tap on them, it's going to sound like a hollow balloon, or it's very hollow, and they may actually be firm because they are puffed up. There is gas in their guts, literally. And if you look on an x-ray where it would be filled with food, it is just gas. And it's not supposed to be like that. And if you've ever been bloated yourself, you know how uncomfortable it is. Well, if you are an eating and pooping machine like guinea pigs are, then it is extra uncomfortable. So this is, if you love your guinea pigs and you want them to feel good and feel safe and healthy and loved, getting them past this uncomfortable condition is extremely important. And the sooner we can do it, the better. So I will say right up front, bloat is something that you very well may need to go to the vet for. So it is important, just like it's important to gather these supplies and be familiar with what bloat is. It's very important to have a vet beforehand. I have a worldwide vet list on my website, where Scotty's Animals, where every one of those vets was personally recommended by somebody who had a positive experience there. So also, if you do have a vet that you trust that is not on the list, you can send me a message about them through the contact page on my website. So having a vet beforehand that you can call in an emergency is very important. Now, I would say if you're able to go to the vet, and as soon as you find that your guinea pig is not feeling well, just make an appointment. But in the meantime, you know, or maybe you can try to treat this condition for a few hours first. I'd say if you can get to the vet, they're going to have better tools, better medications and diagnostic tools to really be able to help, you know, also diagnose the seriousness of this, but get your piggy feeling better faster than if you just did it at home. But while you're at home, there are a number of things that you can do. So when it comes to your guinea pig being bloated, there's really two things that we're trying to accomplish. Now, first, I would say stop giving any vegetables. If your guinea pig is not feeling well, stop the fresh veggies right away. But then we're really trying to do two things, right? If your guinea pig is full of gas and their stomach is empty, we're trying to eliminate that gas and fill up their entire digestive system with food, get it going again. Now, there are many times when your guinea pig might be bloated, but they're still eating, they're still digesting. We want to alleviate that gas and let their digestion continue and recover and get better. But a lot of times when they're bloated, the gas just fills up, they don't feel good. It's like this vicious cycle where they don't feel good, so they're not eating, and so any food that was going through them either stops or, you know, is gone, and then there's nothing left, there's nothing new coming in. So we want to get that gas out, and we want to fill it with food. And the reverse may be true, in that if you can start filling the front side, their stomach, with food, then that may help push some of that gas out. Baby gas drops are something that you need to have in your emergency kit. It may be one of the most important things because bloat is so common. So baby gas drops, you can get them anywhere that you get baby food or baby medicine or baby supplies. You know, so we're talking like a Walmart or a grocery store even, or a pharmacy, any place like that that sells baby stuff should have baby gas drops. Of course, you can get it on Amazon if you, or online in plenty of places. So there should be a link down in the description to some of these things, and in the illness section of my care guide, I have a link to baby gas drops and a number of these things like probiotic paste, critical care. So first thing, baby gas drops. Second thing, critical care, and obviously a syringe. Baby gas drops usually, pretty much always, come with a 1 milliliter oral syringe. You can also use that same syringe for critical care. So critical care, all right, so actually I've got all these things right here. This is my favorite flavor of critical care, or my piggy's favorite. This is the fine grind papaya. I like the fine grind because you can slurp it up in a 1 milliliter syringe without cutting the tip off. The regular critical care and some other emergency foods, it's a little bit coarser, and so you have to modify the syringe by snapping the tip off so that it's easier to slurp up a thicker paste. Okay, this is emergency aid. This is Herbivore IC. You have to get a prescription for this one, and it's a white powder, and it's very creamy, and this is for pigs that are very, very sick, but mixing this with other emergency food, the creaminess, pigs seem to really like it. And this is what the baby gas drops look like. Okay, this is just a generic version. It comes in a little bottle, and you just scoop it up. So let's talk about the amounts. Anywhere from 0.3 to 0.5. This stuff is pretty safe. You're not going to really have any problems giving too much, but so I would say if your piggy's really not doing well, slurp up 0.5, half a syringe, give it to them every 3 hours or so. Maybe you can do the first and second dose every 2 hours, once every an hour and every 2 hours or whatever for the first couple doses to get that really going. But really, every 3 to 4 hours, 0.3 to 0.5 should be fine. There's no reason to do too much, because like I said, after too much time passes, you really need to get to the vet if this is not getting better. So first signs of bloat, if you're able to call and get a vet appointment, emergency appointment, do that. This home remedy is really just if you're stuck, if you're all alone. So baby gas drops should help get the gas out. I believe that what happens is it takes all the little air gas bubbles and it consolidates them, makes them combine, which is supposed to make it easier to pass. And guinea pigs do pass gas. They should be able to pass it, fart, whatever. Maybe there is some misinformation online that guinea pigs don't fart. They do. They can. So you can give them this, and then you can gently massage. You can gently tap on their stomach. You might find that if you have like a gravel road. Now, this is very, very uncomfortable, but I have had a situation where I had a piggy in GI stasis, super bloated, and I live out in a rural area, and so it took me quite a while to get to the vet, like more than 2 hours. And when I got there, the bumping in the car, when I opened the carrier, it was full of poops. Now, we drove all that way for nothing. I was so relieved. If only guinea pig people will understand the joy that can come from seeing guinea pigs who haven't been pooping, who are in GI stasis, who are bloated, finally poop. And I'm sure if you've been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's such a relief. That's the goal. But if they're bloated and there's nothing in there, it could be a couple hours before any poops even make it through. And so step one, get the gas drops in them, try to massage them. And then step two is give them emergency food like critical care, like Sherwood, like this Emer IC, Emerade, whatever you can give them. If you don't have any on hand, now this is a wake-up call, it's a warning. Please get this stuff beforehand. I said it's not if, it's when. So get this stuff. But for some reason, you don't have any critical care, just take some pellets and crush them or blend them. You need a NutriBullet. You don't have a NutriBullet or a Magic Bullet or something that can blend things. You can even use like a coffee bean grinder or whatever. Blend your pellets into a powder. When they're bloated, when they have gas, if there's bad bacteria, do not put any flavors. Don't put mashed banana. Don't put fruit. Don't put applesauce, anything to make it taste better. You just got to get it in them, okay? And that sort of means force feeding them. It means getting this syringe around their incisors and squirting it in. If it's a paste, you can go slow and you can see them eating it. If you've got it more watered down, sometimes piggies would rather accept a more watered down version of critical care. Make sure that that is pointing up, that they are pointing down a little bit, that you don't get liquid in their lungs. That is really, really, really bad. Not only can they choke and die, but if you get that liquid in their lungs, it can cause like pneumonia and other bad things. So this comes with experience, but this is something that you need to learn how to do. And I would also suggest you've got to have these syringes before your piggies are ever sick. Either give them syringes full of just plain water or Child Life liquid vitamin C. Get them used to this syringe so that when it's time for them, when they need it, it's not this big struggle. Every day, give them a syringe or two full of water. You'd be surprised. Your pigs will actually really like water. They're just laying down somewhere. You just give them a squirt of water. Or when they are drinking from their water bottle, you just put this right next to the water bottle and kind of put it right there and start letting it go, and they probably will drink it. They will get to learn to drink it. They're practicing, you're practicing. This is something that you got to do if you want to save your piggy's life. And that's the whole point. You're here, you're watching this video because you love your guinea pigs, because you want to be the best piggy parent you can be, because you don't want to lose them, because you want to save them. And if you're finding this video because your guinea pig is bloated right now, then you may have to rush out and you may have to get these things right away. If you can put your piggy in a carrier and it's appropriate to do so, like I said, that little 5-10 minute road trip might actually be good for their gut. Just be aware they are extremely uncomfortable with this gas. So that's the way it is. Let's see. So that's our 2 steps, is we are trying to get the gas out and we are trying to fill that space with the food, because they, and ultimately they need to be, when they start feeling better, eating hay and digesting properly. That's the goal. But right now, getting anything and getting an appropriate food in their guts to get that moving again. If they have gas and no food in there, then they can go into GI stasis, which is basically their gut completely shutting down. This is bad. Okay, your vet can give you medicines that can help this entire situation. So let's talk about that. There are motility drugs, which if your piggies are not eating and not pooping, the motility drug can get that moving. But a conveyor belt that is moving with nothing on it is not moving, right? So there needs to be food in there for this motility drug to work, right? This is kind of a chicken and the egg. This is kind of a what came first thing. But we need to get the gas out. We need to get the food in. We need everything to move. So that motility drug can help. In other situations, there are appetite stimulators that they can use. There are also anti-gas medicines that your vet can give. They can also, you may want to get an x-ray. They can see if there is some kind of an obstruction, or if there is something else that's potentially causing the bloat, the GI stasis, or whatever this painful feeling is. An x-ray can only reveal things that we are not seeing. So that is something that might be necessary. So another thing that your vet can do is give a pain relieving medicine, probably meloxicam, or Metacam, basically the same thing. It's an anti-inflammatory and a pain medication. And when you're bloated and when you have gas, and maybe depending on what has caused this, the feeling better, the pain relief can help get your piggy eating again. So pain relief, if they haven't eaten or drank in a while, then they might be severely dehydrated. Having Pedialyte, a pediatric electrolyte mix at home, can be very good to give them some liquid. I think also that if you are giving them any kind of medicine, you can sometimes give them pediatric electrolyte mix just to get more fluid in them to help that medicine go. Sometimes these medicines that we give are very, very small amounts, and adding extra liquid can help. But if your pig is severely dehydrated, the vet can give you subcutaneous fluids where they actually take like an IV and they're or some kind of a large syringe full of liquid, and they're injecting that under the skin where it can absorb very quickly into their system. So that is something that may very well be necessary and can save your piggy's life in an extreme situation. So these are all things that your vet can help with, but if it's the middle of the night and you don't live anywhere near an emergency place where you can be seen, if there's no place near you that sees guinea pigs and it's the middle of the night, well, all the more reason to have these things in your emergency kit beforehand. We're over 20 minutes on this video, and as you can see, this is a lot to take in, a lot to understand. Don't check out if you've already watched this far. Please get these things now. Make sure that you have these items so that you are prepared. Like I said, it's not if, it's when. So one last thing that I want to touch on is, okay, a heating pad might be really good to have, whether it's a plug-in heating pad or one of those microwavable heating pads, or an electric blanket on low, something to keep them warm and comfortable may be helpful. But let's talk about, your piggy could have GI stasis and not be bloated. There could be a reason why something's going on with them. They are not eating, but they aren't bloated. That's why it's important to make sure that they have a clean cage and that you're interacting with your piggy regularly so that you can notice if they are not eating and not pooping, right? If digestion is, right, there's an in and there's an out. If nothing's going in and nothing's coming out, that's a problem. If nothing's coming out, generally they go together. So your piggy could also be bloated and not be in GI stasis, but if they're so uncomfortable that they're not eating, then they very well might slip into GI stasis. A lot of times it's sort of both. They're bloated, they're not feeling good, so they don't want to eat. They may not even come out of their house. They look really uncomfortable. They're not eating, they're not pooping. So that's both. And like I said, the goal is to get the gas out, get the food in, and get them pooping. If you're in a situation where this is happening, the biggest signpost that things are going okay, once you realize that your guinea pig is bloated, that they don't seem comfortable, like I said, do the gas drops, maybe do some pediatric electrolyte mix, stop feeding any veggies, and then rub their tummy, and you're waiting, you're looking for that poop, but you've got to put the food in. So give them some critical care. If you do have extra or leftover pain medicine or something like that, you can give them the appropriate dose. Now, I can't say what that dose would be for like a meloxicam, a small amount, but that is going to be based on your guinea pig's weight, and these are things that you can only get by prescription, okay? But talk with your vet and ask them what is appropriate, because bloat is very common. GI stasis is very common. You could ask your vet, are they comfortable maybe giving you a prescription for a motility drug like cisapride that you could keep at home in a situation where you might need it? That may or may not be an option. It depends on where you live, your relationship with your vet. I don't know if these things are legal or illegal, or I don't know that, but I do know that in most places, getting an appointment at the vet within an hour or two of discovering a major emergency illness like bloat can be is often extremely difficult. And we love our piggies. It wouldn't hurt to ask to be prepared in whatever way possible. So this was a long video. Even with bullet points, there's no way to make clear all the nuances about what to do in this situation any shorter. And please feel free to message me directly through the contact page on my website. But please, 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 I beg of you, start building your emergency kit. Baby gas drops, emergency food, and syringes might be the first and most important thing. I realize building an emergency kit isn't cheap. There's a lot of different items. We're over the next few weeks going to be talking about what are the most common illnesses. There's a lot of common illnesses and a lot of different symptoms, but what are the most common illnesses, or what are some emergency kit items that you need because it may be the most likely first things? In a perfect world, we have an emergency kit. We never open it. We never need any of that stuff. That is a fantasy world. So when you're opening that emergency kit, what is the thing that you're going to need most likely? Probably baby gas drops, probably critical care, certainly syringe. All right, I hope this was helpful. If there was a moment in this video that you think is especially important, please do the whole timestamp thing in a comment and then say why. Maybe you thought that was a really important point. If you found this valuable, hit thumbs up. If you want more information like this, or if you just want to stay up to date on everything guinea pig related and you haven't hit subscribe, please hit subscribe. It really helps the channel, and we've been building a pretty awesome community of savvy guinea pig lovers, guinea pig parents here. And man, really, some of the comments just are so insightful and so smart, and there have been people commenting on these videos for years. Look at these guys back here. So this is why I do it. This is why I love it. That's why I've been volunteering for over a decade at the LA Guinea Pig Rescue. Thank you guys so much. Check out these videos about common illnesses right here. All right, until next time, thanks for watching.